What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Personality Typing Practice. If you haven't been here for the previous episodes, I'm using C.S. Joseph's system to practice typing famous people. If you don't know what any of this is on the screen, I'm going to have the links to his channel and his website down in the description. I'll also have a pop-up in the video at the end of the video. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to practice typing a famous person that he's already typed. And then I'm going to check to see what he got and compare it with my answer, see where I went wrong, or maybe like see where I went right. I might get the right answer. But hopefully as I keep practicing, I'll get better and better. But yeah, we're just going to hop right into it. And today we're going to be doing Paul McGann. I think I said that right?
In the episode that you did last year for the 50th anniversary special, and everyone loved seeing you back there with your new styling as well. It was great.
Hold that thought.
Right, that was initiating. 'Cause she was asking him a question, and he said, "Hold that thought." Unless that was staged, which I don't think it is, I'd have a point down for initiating.
What the everything? Except apparently I've got the sonic screwdriver the wrong way round. Yeah, I like the little snake belt as well.
It's very cool, isn't it?
Very sort of 19.
It's talking about what he likes and he doesn't like. That's very TFI, because introverted feeling is all about what one values.
1970s. I like it.
How much kind of say did you get in what he looked like when he came back this time?
None whatsoever. And that sounds probably how it should be. I wanted to say when we did the original.
I wanted to say he interrupted himself when we did the original, so another point down for initiating because he interrupted himself.
It's like being on Blue Peter, and I don't think it's not really worth your chipping in with any. That's what designers are for. You know, they've thought about it, and they're
Talking about what other people have thought about, haven't thought about. That's spear and bow, because extroverted thinking is talking about what other people have thought about.
But like I say,
He just interrupted the interviewer. That's very initiative.
But would you like to return?
Just based on how much he's moving around, I'm gonna put a point down for movement. Usually you could tell by if like someone's fidgeting a lot, their interaction style, their communication style, it might be movement. It's just an indicator though, so he could be controlled. But let's see.
Turn again as the Doctor.
The thing is that I think what worked about the Night of the Doctor was that Stephen Moffat, who had thought about it, actually reconciled a few of the gaps that plainly found.
Brought up like again, he brought up what other people were thinking about or have thought about. That's spear and bow, because extroverted thinking, other people's thoughts.
It got exercised, pose a few new ones, introduce someone new from the 70s.
Yeah, this guy's very initiating.
And John Hurt at the end. And, get a regeneration in.
Keeps bringing up new topics, that's why.
Spring a complete surprise. And all in 6 minutes. And even in the middle.
I am going to switch interviews. This one. Oh, God.
And I had long hair and it's dark.
Do you wish that you had done more episodes instead of just one movie?
Yeah, but when you work as an actor, you get used to that kind of thing. Year on year, things almost happen. Something doesn't quite happen the way you want it to happen. You didn't get that thing. You got something else instead. So you just get philosophical about it.
All right. So far, he's been answering the questions really informatively. I think someone who's direct would be keeping the answers very concise, especially in an interview. But he has a lot of stories behind his answers, so.
But no, I wish we'd done more. But then you know what? Look at it this way. If I'd done more, and say I'd done 5 years of it in a big long series, there might have been no Matt Smith.
Oh yeah.
There's always a catch.
Talking about an idea, a possibility in that way, talking about if I would have done this, this might have happened. It's abstract because you're speculating. It's not concrete.
Did you watch Doctor Who then in Child and
Yeah. I'm very old. And in those days, it's not like now. Now you've got 30,
Yeah.
In those days, just interrupted himself and probably went on to something else. It's very initiating again.
40, 80 channels on the telly.
Tell me about
In
it.
those days, there were just 3. So whatever was on, everybody watched it. All the kids
Yeah.
watched it. So I can remember.
Whatever was on, everybody watched it. That's extroverted sensing because you're talking about what other people are doing, even though he was probed by the kid to talk about if he remembers or like what if he used to watch Doctor Who. So
Even if you weren't like a mad fan, you still watched it. So I can remember going into school, say Doctor Who was on a Thursday, or going on a Friday, and all the kids would be talking about it. Or they'd be acting out the scenes from it. So I can remember that really well.
all the kids would be doing this, all the kids would be doing that. That's extroverted sensing because it's information from the outside. He's not talking about his own experience, which would be very introverted sensing.
And he's most like Peter Capaldi, or Capaldi's most like
Yeah.
him. He's got that same, to me, that same kind of.
You just initiate a new topic talking about like the similarities between the doctors from like his own like the whole like thing in the past about like people doing stuff. It's initiating. So this guy is definitely initiating. He's not responding.
Feel that same.
Do you remember your first day on the set and how it felt?
Yeah, I do, and I was really nervous. And I was with McCoy, who'd been the doctor before me.
Yeah.
And he held me hand a little bit. But it's odd, and I heard Matt Smith say the same thing. David Tennant said the same thing when he was interviewed, that it's really exciting to get the part, but it's only when you begin, when that first day, when you
See how the kid talked about like his experience in the set, and then he changed it. He did talk in the beginning. He talked about like, oh, I was nervous, blah blah blah. But now he's talking about, oh, you feel this way. And that like David Tennant, Matt Smith, they've said that you feel. So he's using more extroverted sensing that way. He's not talking about his own experience.
start that, you realise. And McCoy kept saying, "You're all right," So, yeah, I'm just a bit nervous. And when you're nervous, you don't walk quite right. You sort of do same arm, same leg.
See, when you're nervous, you don't walk quite right. He's not saying, "Oh, I was nervous, I wasn't walking quite right." So that's very extroverted sensing.
And the more you do, the better the better they are, aren't they? The more you do, the better you get at them. It's like everything, you just practice them. But everybody gets scared, don't they? I think. And anyone that isn't scared or nervous is lying.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
For your role.
That was a little bit of extroverted feeling, talking about everyone being scared. But I could also make an argument for extroverted sensing, so I'm going to point down for that too. This fear could have been linked to him viewing like what other people are experiencing, or him seeing how other people are feeling. So
In the film.
A little bit. And again, I remember, David Tennant and Matt and others saying, that you can't help that because.
talking about, he keeps bringing those two actors up, and he's talking about like what they were saying. He's not really talking about like what he thinks about himself. So I'm gonna put a point down for extroverted thinking again because he's using outside resources, other sources of thinking.
Because that's what inspired you to want to be in it in the first place, the first Doctor. I wanted to try and be more like him,
Okay.
And there's a kind of, what I liked about him was there's a kind of restraint to him. He didn't have to shout and, he wasn't eccentric, say like McCoy was, or obviously eccentric. There was something kind of quiet and heroic about it. That's what I like. I like that.
Again, talking about what he values, what he likes. That's very introverted feeling. And him talking about what the other doctor did when he was like, and how he wanted to copy him. It's also fire and wind because like I want to be like him. So I'm gonna put a point down for that too. So based on the information I have, if he's fire and wind and he's initiating, then we could say that he's an ENTJ, an ENFJ, an ESTP, or an ESFP.
Liverpool were in this position. And of course, you're tempted to think, as I'm sure, young Man United supporters must be thinking, no, it's never going to win.
You're tempted to think other people are thinking, your thoughts, extroverted thinking. So if he's not Sword and Mace, Spear and Boast, that means he can't be an ESTP or an ENFJ. So he's either an ENTJ or an ESFP. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the other interview.
I don't know, like the wobbly sets and that though.
Well, it's a matter of taste, You grew up with sets that didn't wobble, so that's what you're used to. But when we were kids, everything wobbled all the time. It wasn't just Doctor Who, incidentally.
You talked about what he grew up with, and then you talked about what we grew up with, not what he himself grew up with. So another point for extroverted sensing. You just gotta figure out what temperament he is or what interaction style he is. And then we'll have our answer.
All the other dramas on the telly, they had wobbling sets as well. Come on then.
Yeah, okay.
Throw me a curved ball, as they say.
Okay.
Come on then. I don't know if that was direct or informative, but I'm gonna put a point down for informative because you didn't say. Oh, but that was kind of direct though. So alright, let's go. Come on. So I'm gonna put a point down for direct. See how he keeps fidgeting with his water bottle. That's very movement. It keeps moving around.
As you know, I shot that pie.
As you know, talking about he knows, again, it's extroverted thinking. I know I've already crossed these out, but just for educational purposes to teach you guys what these functions mean. Also, if I explain it to myself, it also helps me as well. So
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because we had some good ideas, but some of those ideas...
I was disappointed because we had good ideas. It's more Spear and Bow. I was disappointed, introverted feeling, because we had good ideas, extroverted thinking, collective thought, my feelings.
Have now found their way onto the audios. So I can I can do some of the things that I wanted to do, play in the way that I want.
I can do some of the things that I want to do. That's more introverted intuition, talking about what he wants himself.
To play in. And also, when we came to shoot The Night of the Doctor 3 years ago.
When we came to shoot, that's extroverted sensing, more extroverted sensing. Talking about what we did. Yeah, so this guy's definitely a wayfarer. Which a wayfarer is basically someone who has these 4 cognitive functions: Spear and Bow, Fire and Wind.
I was already into. I was warmed up. I knew what I was doing. Whereas I think if there'd been a gap of 10 years, I might have been too nervous to do it. So yeah.
So yeah, he's considering other possibilities. I'm gonna have to put a point down for abstract.
The great thing about audio, of course, is that because your imagination is bigger and wider and infinite and more limitless than anyone's budget. You know what I mean?
Imagination is more wider, limitless. That's abstract.
Yeah. Simple things. If you can possibly do it, train. Go to a school, get somebody to teach you.
If you can possibly do it, that's another abstract statement. He's not just saying, all right, yeah, do this, this, and this. This is what works. If you can possibly do it, that's abstract.
How to do it. And where you're just in with some other students and you can mess around. Try and...
Tell me what he can and what he's gonna be able to. Gonna have to put a point down for extroverted intuition, because extroverted intuition talks about other people's possibilities, what other people can and can't do.
If you don't go to a school to do it, you've got to learn it while you're doing it, which is trickier, but you can still do it like that. So I'd say do that. The other bit
you can still do it like that. That's more extroverted intuition, giving him multiple options.
Advice is, and also, but the actor part of me wants to test him. And if he can be stopped,
Yeah.
then he shouldn't be an actor. But if he can't be stopped, then come on in. One more.
He's still talking about other people's pot. It's very extra intuition.
More of us, one less of them. That's what I always say. I hope you become an actor.
Yeah. I do as well.
And maybe we'll work together.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll work together. It's another possibility. It's abstract. All right. So based on what we have, we would pick ENTJ. But I want to verify against ENTP because I know I screw up there.
What would you play? What would you like to play if you could? What kind of role would you like to play?
What would you want to do if you could do this? More extra intuition, talking about what other people could or could not do.
It's like all it takes.
Well, there you go. So, who's it going to be? Maybe Capaldi can make it happen.
Probably.
Talking about other people could or could not do. That's more extra intuition.
But I think, no, we've got to be progressive.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be great to see a good female doctor.
We got to be progressive. That's very movement. I mean, we need progress, progressive.
You know, we went to the first. I'd never been around. I went around with some American friends. The Doctor Who experience in Cardiff, and there was a Yeti there, and I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. And, you know,
I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. It's more introverted sensing.
And it's got like the steel ball of a heart that comes out of the chest and floats out. I can still remember being 8 years old and legging
That was very informative.
it out of the room because I was so terrified. But yeah,
Now he's talking about his own experience. So that's introverted sensing.
I'd like to probably have been inside that, you know, being a monster.
I prefer to be a companion.
Yeah. Who's your favourite companion?
Who's your favorite? More extroverted feeling. Yeah, I definitely think this guy is a starter type, and a starter type is basically anyone who shares these three traits. So informative, initiating movement, all those types are starter types. If he's abstract, then he would have to be actually. The only thing I'm looking for right now is ENTJ versus ENTP. So. And he's automatically pragmatic and systematic. Just based on what we got.
Probably, yeah.
They're the best. Don't blink. How cool is that?
I know.
It's because it's like, it's primal, it's primeval. Even a small child understands it.
Yeah.
You know, don't close your eyes, you know. It's good. That was a great idea.
Even a small child understands it. It's more extroverted thinking. God, it's hard, dude.
Well, there was.
I hope the Yetis come back. I want to see the Yetis. They look a bit naff now, the Yetis, don't they?
Yeah.
I hope the Yetis come back. I want to see. He just interrupted him. Okay, so I'm still confident in being initiative. Talking about what he wants to see. That could be like an experience that he wants to have. Someone put a point down for introverted sensing.
You think they'll redesign them?
They'd have to, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I actually know someone. His name's Paul Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And he dresses his kids up as Doctor Who.
Does he?
Yeah.
They're probably here.
And he dresses his son up as.
They're probably here. They're probably outside. It's more extroverted intuition, talking about like what they could be doing or where they could be. Like outside possibilities.
The second.
You know, triple jumper. And I was good at it. You know, I was like the city champion and then the county champion, I took it seriously. But and my dream was to go to the Olympic Games.
Talking about his dreams, it's more introverted intuition. I'm thinking hard. Let's keep watching.
And it is. But I'll never forget the love I had for it. And then, like I said, the disappointment.
Never forget the love I had for it. That's more spear and bow. I don't think he's. I don't hear any sword and mace. This guy's definitely spear and bow. Initiating spear and bow. I think he's abstract. Initiating spear bow. We got ENTJ and ENFP. I think I might just be overthinking it, and I'm gonna go with ENTJ because that's what we had in the beginning. And I'm going to check to see what CS Joseph got right now. Alright, Chase got INTJ, but oh man, that would make sense with his movement. I did get his cognitive functions right. It was great. It's awesome. I got this right. This is right. This is right. This is right. Um, yeah, he was not a control. He was so initiative though. So Chase got INTJ. This is my typing. All right, so he actually is an INTJ, and I mean, yeah, an INTJ, and the reason for that is, so if we look at what I got, right? So I was I got his cognitive functions right, it was just fine. I got that his abstract, it was fine. But if you look at the communication style, I was getting informative initiating movement. And INTJs have ESFP subconscious. So when they cognitive transition, or if that side of their mind is very developed, which I'm assuming it is for him because he is an actor, then he would be exuding more of the traits of this type, and ESFPs are starter types. Should make sense, which is why I wanted to classify him as a starter type so much and not a direct initiating control, because he wasn't direct initiating control. And I was right with the movement, but I was wrong with the initiating. So he is actually responding. I probably misinterpreted him interrupting for him changing new topics. It's probably what happens because I like to keep it as simple as I can. So I shouldn't be doing that, and I need to actually see if he's actually switching the topic of the conversation or not. But yeah, because this is the subconscious of the INTJ, and that would make more sense, like based on what I was getting. So yeah, he is an INTJ. I typed him as ENTJ. So I was close, but yeah, I just gotta make sure I keep the this part in mind. And yeah, he was definitely movement. Like you could tell just based off how much he was jittering. So yeah, he is an INTJ. This is the correct one, not this one. My typing was not correct, but I explained why my typing was incorrect. So um, thank you all so much for watching. If again if you don't know anything that I just did right here, if it was all confusing to you, I'm gonna have a link to CS Joseph's channel and website down in the description, and I also have a link coming up shortly on the video. And thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys learned as much as I did, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.